Hi, this is Bethany with the CapitalKknitting podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am just enjoying the sunshine on my front porch. My front porch yarn room crafting space is disorganized. It has things in it that don't belong here, like this piece of furniture that I'm using as a tripod today. My husband and I have been moving our furniture all around because we had carpet installed today, which is a huge blessing. I'm so excited about it, but I'm also very excited about putting our house back together, so that'll be really nice. Today, right now, is probably the only time I have to record this episode before the end of the month, because it's February 28th and that's the end of the month. So here we go. If you have any questions about anything that I talk about, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what's bringing you joy. I love looking at people's project pages or even the pattern that you're working from. Anything like that. Let me know. I want to hear all about it. And if you have any questions about something that I mention and you're like, where is that? The description box, so it's where the see more part is next to the title of my video. If you click on the little see more link, it'll drop down this box and it'll have a bunch of my show notes in it about my Ravelry project pages. If you have any questions about like makers or anything like that, that'll be there. Also, I am pretty detailed in my podcast because I know that not everybody likes to be on Ravelry, and the reason I watch podcasts isn't so I can go on someone's Ravelry project page all the time. It's so I can get that detail right then and there. So that's why I'm going to really try and be specific about my projects. If that's not your jam, that's totally fine. You don't have to tell me if it's not your jam. You can just move along. But if you want to stay, thanks for staying. And we'll hit the finished objects, the FOs. Okay, first finished object of February were my son's mittens. He asked for them specifically for his birthday, which was so sweet. He's 3 years old. I haven't made him any mittens before because his hands are so small. They're small. They're big for a 3-year-old, but they're still small. And he requested that I make those for him. So I made him mittens. I cranked a hat for him. I had a Centro knitting machine for a week, and then I decided to return it. So I'm going to have a video about that, about why I chose to buy it, why I chose to return it. That's all coming this week. But I knit the world's simplest the world's simplest mittens pattern by Tin Can Knits for that project, and he asked for me to knit it out of his favorite yellow yarn. He picked this out himself. This is Knitting Nakabi's Golden Ticket colorway in the DK weight. So I'm sorry for those of you who can't see my mouth when I have something that I'm showing up on the screen. If it's important for you to be able to see what I'm saying, maybe you could turn on the closed captioning for that, because I have to be able to cover my eyes for that moment. In fact, maybe I'll just stop talking when I have something to show you. I think I'll start doing that. That's better. Okay, I'm going to start doing that. So this is the Golden Ticket colorway by Knitting Nakabi. Her yarns are so wonderful, so wonderful. Her name is Kelsey, and she has all of these naturally dyed. So this one was dyed with turmeric. And then I'll show it to you here. It's so yellow. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness, I like it so much. So I took a picture of him here because I can't find his mittens. He knows where they are, but I don't know where they are. So he had a great time. He asks for them all the time, and that just makes my little mama heart flutter, because I love that they love what I make for them. So I've got my little scale here. Oh, now I'm messing up how it gauges itself. Almost 18 grams left. So I did a pretty long cuff on those, but I don't think they were longer than what the pattern suggested. So I'm not sure where I'll use this little leftover, but that's actually kind of a game I'm playing with myself this year, is to see how many scraps I can put in a project and it look like it's not a scrap, you know, that it was meant, that I chose it specifically for that. That's one of my games I'm playing this year. Oh, the second object is actually over on my blocking mat, so just a second. So you've seen this before, but I was originally making this into the Allay jacket by Brandy Cheyenne Harper. That pattern is chunky, it's squishy, it's so great, right? But I was going to modify it to be sleeveless so that it could easily be like just a layer under my winter coat. But I didn't want a sleeveless raglan, because it would come down, you know, here. It wouldn't actually be sleeveless. It would look like it had a little cap sleeve on it if I did that. So I decided I wasn't going to do that, and that I would instead use the hood and then like make my own little kind of drop shoulder, top down, long vest situation. And the more I worked on it, the more I was dissatisfied, because number one, it was hurting my hands. I've never done a bulky weight project before. I'm not really into like the bulky weight sweaters, you know, I'm not really into that. The reason I bought this yarn is because I was going to be knitting a sweater with my friends in Kentucky. That didn't end up happening because we moved, and I planned on knitting it long distance with them also, but because we had just moved, I lost track of everything, so it needed to be used for something else. So follow along with me, I'm still trying to be linear. Since this hood, ooh, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, look at that, look at it. Oh, it's so squunchy and good. And it grew a lot. It grew a lot with blocking. It used to be like right up there by my face, but now it's down here. So I can like tuck it in my V-neck pea coat, you know. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So, I'll stop pretending to be a Lord of the Sith there. That's always what it makes me feel like, because it can come like really far forward. I used Lannis Quick Barocco Lannis Quick, and it's 100% wool in the color 77200. Sorry, there's a school bus going by if you can hear that. That's what that noise is. It's dropping off children to see their mamas. And this is classified as a super bulky wool, but I will say, I don't think a super bulky is supposed to get 109 yards per 100 grams. I don't think that's how it's supposed to go. So I don't think that's how it's supposed to go. Anyway, I went ahead and did the hood, and because this I don't believe is a super bulky yarn, just from the yardage and work, like it, maybe it's a bulky yarn, definitely a plump Aran maybe. So I was working with this on a bigger size needle. I think it's size 10. I'll make sure I'm right here and put it on the screen if I said something wrong. But it was hurting my hands to work with it so much. I would do a few rows and I would just get frustrated because I had to take breaks. I'm trying to be really conscious of when I need to take a break and not ruin my hands. So anyway, before I started on the sweater, I just kept using this hood anyway. If we would go outside and it was really cold, I would just put it on. And I thought, you know what? I'm having so much trouble with this. I'm not enjoying this. I do enjoy the hood. And so I just took it back off. I took it back off and this is still going to be blocking for a second over here. I'll reset it out later. And it's just a little bit damp still. And I love using it as a hood. So I'm just going to keep it that way. I like my Allay hood a lot. And I think it will serve me really well in the future. So that's that. That's where I'm that's where I'm at with that. That one's done. The yarn that I bought to finish it, I'm giving to my mom because 700 grams worth of Aran / bulky weight is enough to make a kid's blanket, and she has offered to make a blanket for my son. She makes blankets for each of her grandchildren, and I think it'd be really cool if my son's was made of wool because it's coming back to me, so I'll know how to take care of it. So that'll be really good. And since I am really trying to finish a significant portion, not completely, but a significant portion of the sweaters I have on my needles before I start new ones, I haven't cast any other sweaters on, even though my brain was like, hey, since you finished that hood, that technically means a sweater is off your needles, so maybe we should start another one. But here's the thing. I have this one. Whoops. Going, which is my Alpenglow by Andrea Mowry. Oh no, I'm caught on a cord. Hang on. There we go. This is Holstgarn Super Soft in the colorway Tundra. Sorry, I won't cover my mouth before I show it to you. Or this is Holstgarn Super Soft in the colorway Tundra, and I really like that heathering in there. I really like that a lot. This is the Alpenglow by Andrea Mowry. I finished my, so that's the beginning of my row. So this is actually, I'm kind of only partway through a row. That's okay. I'm going to show you the back then because it's easier to see the color work. So you can see, wow, it's getting blown out, but you can see it. It's not bad. This I call it super soft. If you've worked with it before, you know it's not actually super soft. When it blocks out, it blooms quite a bit, and I think that's why they call it that. One of the things that's great about Holstgarn is that they don't take all the spinning oils out of the yarn, and so that they pass that savings on to you for that. This is some yarn that I got from D-Stash. Wow, the light is kind of crazy now. What should I do? Should I move? We're just gonna work with it. It's okay. You know what it looks like. It's fine. If you want a true representation of the color, then look on this side, I guess. This is some woolen spun yarn from Liz Co Knits. I got that in a little D-Stash group I was a part of for a while. This is Plume by Magpie Fibers. It is cashmere. Oh my goodness. It is the most expensive yarn I've ever purchased in my life, and I do not regret it 1 ounce. Not 1 ounce of my being regrets that. I'm so happy with it. I actually just ordered one other skein, and it didn't count at all towards my boundaries for my extremely low buy year. Not at all. I just got on there and bought a skein of the white color that they have, and I'm gonna use it. So I felt bad about it for a while, and now I don't feel bad because I know I'm gonna use it. But I also probably don't feel bad because I like closed out of like 4 other yarn orders that I had in a cart. So it could have been really bad, but it wasn't. So that was good. So we've got this Alpenglow. I just finished the stranded color work on it. It looks so good, guys. It is this bottom part of the color work isn't as high contrast as I would like. And I'm wondering if I should go back on it and like do some color management or not. I probably won't, to be honest, because I can see it and that's okay with me. The next part of this is I have to do 1 more increase for the yoke for my size, and then I have to do some of the mosaic knitting And the rest of the body and sleeves are the mosaic knitting until you get to here, where this little cashmere and blue are going to be repeated that way. So I've got a ways to go, and once I get to where the yoke is supposed to be finished, I'm gonna block this thing, because I'm not using the recommended needle size, and I think that I'm knitting the right size for myself, but I'd really like to be sure before I continue on. So I'm gonna do the yoke, and then I'm gonna block the yoke, and then I'm gonna try it on and make sure that it's not like down to here, but also make sure that my shoulders aren't tight in it too. So that is the plan. So we have our main color. Main color? Is the main color the one you use the most of, or the one you start with? Because I keep seeing, anyway, this seems like the main color to me. This is Whole Scarf Super Soft, and then I told you about this, and then this one is Australian Superwash Wool. Oh, and now I forget. I'll have to look it up, but I'll put it on the screen, and you can see that it changes color. It's marled, kind of similar to a Spin Cycle, which is what she used for the pattern for that. I have some Spin Cycle, but I'm going to be using that hopefully for a Great Kingdom Raglan later in the year that I'm hoping to also mod into a cardigan. That's the plan. So that is sweater number 1. Sweater number 2 is behind me. I have this Ola cardigan right here because I had it on, but then it got really warm in here, so I took it off. If you're interested in it, it's got these really pretty cables on the sleeves. They're really nice. That is by Vert and Rose, and you can look her up on Instagram. This is my ranunculus. Look, it's so long. Wow, this is where we were the last time we spoke. I had just done a little bit above the separation for the sleeves. So you can see I'm in the ribbing down there. And I have, according to pattern, you're supposed to do 8 centimeters of ribbing, which for some reason in my brain, I thought the patterns had 4 inches of ribbing, but it doesn't say anything like that. It says 8 centimeters of ribbing. So 8 centimeters is 3 and a bit inches, 3.15, I believe. And I am getting very close to that, 3.15 centimeters. I have measured my row gauge for this twisted rib here, and I need 3 more rows to make that, to make it to 3 inches. So I'll probably do another row after that to do, yeah, so maybe 4 rows left on this rib. First of all, I might continue and do 4 inches of rib because that's what I measured on my body when I thought that's what the pattern said. But I'm debating because cotton, even though it feels airier, it's heavier. So the last skein of this that I have, which I am just going to use for the sleeves, it was 98 grams. So it's not even quite 100. And that's the first full skein of yarn that I've measured that's not been over 100 grams. And I'll tell you, I was like, oh, like I'd been cheated out of 2 grams, but it is heavier. And so, it just has less yardage. It's just going to have less yardage. And so I am thinking about doing my rows here. Usually what's most important to me is the body length. I have determined I'm not going to buy any more yarn for this sweater, even if the sleeves only come to like here or something. I would prefer it to be a long sleeve sweater. That's just what I like. But I I say that and then my brain is like, but are you sure? So we'll see. I guess we'll see. We'll see if I have to buy one more, because I think I would only need one more. And my old LIS has it still, and that's where I bought this. They have a few still in stock. I think this color is really pretty. I did not meet gauge at all. I'm using an entirely different needle size. The pattern for the ranunculus suggests a lot of positive ease in the body. So what I did is I just knit the yoke to, and then knit the raglan increases to where it said to, and then I measured it on myself. I put it on and then, you know, decided how much more I needed to increase, how long I wanted it to be. And then once I got to the length I wanted it to be, I added a few more stitches on the sleeve hole that I wanted there. So it's not as much positive ease as the pattern suggests, but it is a denser fabric than the pattern has, and so I had to adjust for more stitches for that. So yeah, we don't have very much left of this third one. So this is going to be 300 grams here of this beautiful cotton yarn. This is Cumulus from Juniper Moon Farm. It is Israeli Mako cotton and a touch of nylon. So it's 94% cotton and 6% nylon. And sometimes when it's in good light like this, it looks blue. And when it's pretty dark, it looks gray. So I like both of those things. And the colorway is Stone. Sorry, I didn't say that. Stone. So I don't think it's, I think it looks blue. Not as gray as Stone, maybe. Maybe Stone Cold Blue-Eyed Babe. I don't know. Yeah. So I really like that. It is really airy, and I can't wait to finish the body because I just want to put it on. Like, I just want to put it on again. And one of the struggles that I've been having with this one is that my cord length has not been very long. Like, you can see it's kind of, for my needles to stay safe, is kind of bunched up on there, which I know some other people really like because it goes a little faster for them. But I'm finding that I'm dropping stitches with that. I dropped a purl stitch while I was doing the ribbing, and so that meant that on the back I got off sync quite a bit. Where is it? Oh, it's here. So here you can see my ribbing looks real messy. It looks really messy, especially right there. And that's because for probably 10 stitches, I was off. And in a few places I noticed when I was off, I was like, what is happening? What's going on? But somehow, maybe 7 rows down, I had been off for about 10 stitches. And so it was on the back. And I reasoned with myself, does that matter to me? And then I thought, yeah, it really does. So I stayed up last night to fix it. And yeah, so it's fixed now, and I just have a little bit left of the body to do. So hopefully this will be done next time. I'll get to wear it, even if it is doing some greenhouse effect stuff here. I have 2 accessories you've seen before and one that you haven't. I have 1 new cast on, but I wanted to show you the one I'm currently obsessed with. This is my Musselburgh. Look at how far I've made it. I'm actually, that's where we were last time. That's a lot of knitting. That's a lot of knitting. This is a fingering weight Musselburgh hat. If you've never knit one before, it is a pattern that has been graded for 4 different weights of yarn, I believe. So, and honestly, that's not even true. Probably more than that, because it's determined by your stitch gauge, and then you can just make with it what you want. Now, my stitch gauge with a fingering weight yarn was 8 stitches per inch. Oh no. but the pattern only goes down to 7 stitches per inch. So I added a few stitches here and there in the increases after I finished my crown down here. And I'm hoping that that will be good. I have a not small head. I want to say it's not gigantic, but it's not small. I've got one of those, like, I don't know. My sister and I jokingly call it an alien bump, but it's like where your head goes, like, curves before it hits your neck. I know some people's heads just, like, I don't know. There's a big old curve back there. It's hidden by my hair, but it's, yeah. I have so little of this left. Look. Oh, it's so little now. And I'm really wanting to finish this. I want to wear it. I want it to be on my head. And I have 36 grams left of this. So I'm going to keep knitting until I have 10 grams left, because Maddie of the We Share Needles podcast said that she usually needs 10 grams to do that with. I might actually do 11, because I think she's a looser knitter than I am. So we'll see. But my goodness, I love this yarn. Oh, I'm trying to find, like, the shady spot now, and maybe there's not one. Where, though? Where can I show you? Back here? Look at that. This is, oh, the pooling is actually really cool. I've been just looking at it kind of close up for a while. That looks really great. I like that a lot. This is by Annie Perrin. She released an Encanto inspired yarn line last year, and I purchased Surface Pressure and We Don't Talk About Bruno. And We Don't Talk About Bruno is this beautiful silver green, and this is Surface Pressure. So, oh no, can you see it? Can you see it? Is it showing for you? Maybe? There? Okay. This is ridiculous, but that's what we gotta do. So as you can see, it's a merino cashmere nylon blend, and boy, is it yummy. I love it. I can't wait to put it on my head. I keep finding myself when I take a pause just like going like this because it feels so nice. I'm trying to do 10 rows a day before I do any other knitting related thing, because if I do that, 10 rows for me is an inch a day, and it also is 5 grams a day. So if I have, did I say I have 35 grams left? So if I have 25 grams left to knit, just straight knitting, then that's going to be 5 days. So I might be able to finish this sucker this week. I'm hoping so. I really, really, really want it. I have another Musselburgh that I knit at the end of 2021. It's this green thing. I love it. I've worn it so much, but I would like one that I can flip the brim on. I want it to be longer. And so I'm kind of following, if I have enough yarn, I'm following what I've heard both from Maddie of the We Share Needles podcast and from Natalie from her Love and Stitches podcast, Knitty Natty. So Maddie says she needs 10 grams left for the decreases, right? Natalie says she likes to have 19 inches between the increases and the decreases on her hat. I don't know if I have enough yarn to do that. I'm trying, but this is kind of a plumper yarn. It was 115 grams gain, which is great, but it says 420 yards for 115 grams. So I feel like that's, I don't know if the yardage is going to make it, is what I mean. I don't know if we're going to make it, but we're going to try. So if I hit 19 inches, I'm just going to start with the decreases. And if I hit 10 grams, I'm just going to start with the decreases. Whenever I hit first, that's when I'm going to start with the decreases. I do have more left of the We Don't Talk About Bruno yarn. So for a minute, I thought about, well, I could just finish the end off and that could be the inside a hat and that's fine. But actually, I really want to see how the decreases pool. I'd like to see if it's any different and if I prefer the other side or not. So that's my progress on this one. And then I have my socks, which the mojo has been a little lost on these socks, and it's because of the Musselburgh. I want to finish that thing, and so I've just been using all of my stockinette time to do that. I have my heel flap started here. On my first sock, I got through the heel turn and picked up all my stitches, and I haven't yet started the gusset decreases. And this guy, I've probably done 3 rows of the heel turn here. Where can I show you? There we go. About 3 rows of the heel turn. I finished the leg, which is great. I don't have there's not a ton. Look at how deflated this thing is. So I think what I'm going to do is not do a contrast toe. I was thinking about doing that to match my other stripy socks that I recently made. I'm still deciding if it would be better for me to have more or less leftover yarn. You know what I should do? I should do the math. That's what I should do. I should do the math. I should do my, I should measure how much I would need for the end of the foot and do that. Because if I get to the end of my foot to where my toe would be, if I only have 3 grams left of this, then I'm just going to do the toe. I'm just going to do the toe and get it done and not have barely any left. I'll cut up the rest for the birds for their nests, just put it out there. I don't need 6 grams of self-striping yarn to be hanging on to. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll make that decision once I get there. I'll probably have more than that left over, but we shall see. I knit these with a long leg so that I could, so that I'd be using up more yarn, because I like a longer leg, but also so that I'd be using up more yarn. Now this main color with the stripes is called Sidewalk Chalk Stripes. And then the heel is their colorway Flax. It's just this, beige thing, and I use it for that and the colorway Coal for a lot of stuff. I do not care if I have leftovers of those in my stash because I know I'll always use them. So these are Patton's Croy. Patton's Croy is great because it's really accessible price wise for a lot of people. It's also a really hardy yarn. I feel like it's not soft. It's not very soft. This is a non-superwash yarn, and it is the most buttery. It is so, and that's the thing about yarn that's kind of crazy. If you're not there to, guys, if you're not there to feel it, it can be really an interesting experience, because this is non-superwash yarn, and it is not soft. It's pretty rustic. I don't know, it's okay. It's middle of the ground, I'd say, rustic yarn wise. But then this is oh, this is lovely, right? But then there's some superwash yarn, which is Patton's Croy, which is you can tell that stuff is gonna stand up to some really good stuff, really good wear. And then there's superwash yarns that are slick and almost cool to the touch and very different. So it can be really interesting trying to figure out what yarn is gonna feel like when you buy it online, because yeah, the superwash and oh no, I have hair all over me. The superwash and non-superwash camps can feel so different. So I have one more. This is my new cast on. This is the Forest Illumina cowl. And I just started it. So there's these, oh man, come on. There we go. Is it over here? Is it over here? Yeah. I just started these, this cowl. So down here is supposed to be like these spruce needles. Can you see? There's like a brown stem going through the bottom of this, and obviously it's curling because this is stockinette, and I have a provisional cast on here. It's gonna connect once I'm done. And then I just finished these little mushrooms. They're so cute. My main color is Patton's Croix, again, in the colorway Coal. I'm going to be using that. I don't have another skein of this. I'm just going to keep knitting on this until I run out and get some more at Joann's the next time I'm there. Because that means I have to go to Joann's. But really, with this black yarn, it's such a workhorse yarn. I'm always going to have more of it. I'm always going to need more of it. So I don't feel bad about buying that for anything. And I don't have any other black yarn. I don't own any other black yarn. So I need it to finish this project anyway. I can't wait till I have more of this on here so that it will just like stay open more. And when I started this project, I was planning on starting it the evening before. My husband and I were having the worst trouble with our drain pipe at our home. It was just so frustrating. And so we finally got it all done. Thank you to the company that came and fixed it all. They even gave us popcorn and chocolate yogurt covered pretzels to say thank you for our business. And oh my gosh, we were so thankful for you guys. So all I was doing was stockinette while I was away. We were staying with my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, and she's so hospitable and so sweet. But still, like, the stress of not being in your own home and then like not knowing when you're going back. And I feel like I was being a reasonable person on the outside, but on the inside I was struggling. Who knows? Maybe I wasn't as reasonable as I thought on the outside. But the whole time I couldn't. I wanted to cast this on, and my brain was just like overwhelmed. So, you know, it's one of those where you're like, I just got to do the next thing that I got to do. Like, that's all I got to do. And so I was doing the stockinette on the body of my ranunculus. I was working on the Musselburgh, but I wasn't really picking up anything else because the bulky weight project hurt my hands, and the Alpenglow, I like had to count increases at one point. And then the socks, they're on the heel flap, which is easy to do. I just didn't want to do it. And then this is obviously stranded colorwork. And so as soon as I learned that we were going to be able to come back home because they had fixed the pipe, I cast this on and I could not stop just doing one row after the other of this until I finished the mushrooms. So I'm excited about doing the next thing. This pattern has quite a bit of duplicate stitch and embroidery that go along with it. And so yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue the way that it suggests with that. It looks really cool, so I might just do that. But the thing that I don't understand is in it has you do the color work as if you're not going to be doing the duplicate stitch later. Like if there are mushrooms, right, that are next, which there are, then I'm supposed to knit the mushrooms the way that you would knit them if you're not doing the duplicate stitch. And then you can go back and make the mushrooms like different colors. So I don't know. Since there are so, like, all of my floats in here, like, no one's going to see them. I don't need to catch them. It doesn't matter. I'm really wondering, yeah, does it make any sense for me to just do color work that way where I'm working with like 4 different colors for no reason? We'll see. We'll see. Have any of you done the Forest Illumina? What do you think? What did you think? Because that's the thing. I don't understand. Like, I don't want that color of the mushroom coming through underneath the color that has been chosen for it. I would think that maybe I would just knit the black, like knit the main color where that is supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah, obviously I'm still thinking through it, which is why I stopped, because I'm not sure what I want to continue with. I might just do a different chart next, because they're all just separate charts, these little motifs. So I might just knit a different chart next and think about that later, or not do it at all. I'm not sure. I do like that they're different colors. I do think it's really fun to have that in there like that, where it's not just the same thing around there. But I do that a lot, where I think, oh, I'll do it my own way, and then I find out, oh, that's why they were wanting me to do it that way. Okay. Well, that is the last whip here. The only acquisitions I have for this month, because the yarn that I ordered earlier, the Magpie Fibers, hasn't come in yet, so that's going to count towards March. The only things that I've acquired this month is I got some longer cords. Because I was having trouble with my ranunculus, I'm just frustrated with that. So I got some longer cords for my interchangeable set, and I think that's going to be very helpful for me, just to make sure that I'm not dropping stitches and everything's coming up beautifully. And I think with this size cord, I might be able to do try-ons a little more easily, because it's not the size of my bust circumference, but it's a lot closer than the other one is. So I think that'll be a lot easier. Yeah. And I'm running out of all of my memory and all my battery on my phone, so I'm going to say goodbye this time. But I can't wait to see you next time. And I cannot believe we made it. I can't believe we made it through the podcast without something happening. So I'll say goodbye before it does. Bye.